All right, Theo, thanks so much. I'm alldaywes, host of the Monday Night Jazz Odyssey here at KUVO in Denver. Just wanted to talk to you. I know you're coming into town for some shows at Dazzle, October 3rd and 4th. You got the late shows, the early shows, the late shows. You got four shows, so super excited for that. And you also have your new album out right now, Dream Manifest. So
Yeah.
wanted to talk, what was it like to produce that new album, along with collaborators like Deluxe and Casa Overall, Elite. So,
This album was fun because I did it all in 17 days. 17 days straight. And I made two albums, which I usually do. And one album was like completely free jazz, which just happened in the middle of a take. The focus wasn't there. I was like, man, just play whatever. And we did. And we played for about 50 minutes, a bunch of just free stuff. And I used that to get out of my record deal with Sony.
oh,
I
okay.
was like, "Here's the next album," and they were like, "Nah, we'll let you go if this is what you want to do." I was like, "Great!" And then I started. Then I, was able to do Dream Manifest more independently, the way I wanted. So, but it was fun, man. I didn't have a lot of songs written. I had some ideas in my notebook. I had some ideas from the demos on the computer, little ideas, but that's about it. So it's the first time I ever went to a studio to make an album and just didn't know what I was gonna make.
Wow, just walking in. Was that like I heard you were kind of like letting some stuff play, kind of catching a vibe, maybe like, okay,
Yeah.
this is when we'll record. Everybody's just kind of feeling it out.
Well, what I would do is I would have us play. I would have because there were new ideas. It was my road band, so we could make music out of anything at that time. And we had just came off a long tour, so we would I would play something over and over again for a long time until it settled into like that energy that you would get from playing live. So like 20 minutes into a song, 15 minutes into a song, it would really start to click and tighten up. And that we would use that part of the take. So we would play the whole song start to finish with solos and everything, and then on the outro, I would start playing the intro, and we'd go back into it again and stuff like that. And that really, that's really why there's only like one take of most of the things, um, because it's just that was the way to capture like that live energy, but also a way to keep it on like I guess it's like a middle ground between keeping it like pure the first take and that vibe and capturing the first time everybody's playing it. That first natural reaction is usually the coolest to me because you don't know what's coming next and you're not overthinking it. You're not thinking, oh, I need to play this part, or oh, let me play this way. Like you're not able to mess with it at all. You just kind of you're going with it. So I really wanted that type of energy.
Wow. And I know you got the deluxe edition coming out on the 24th of October.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about those 5 songs that we're going to get. And I love that you linked up with IDK for My Friend.
Yeah. So the deluxe songs are all songs that just kind of didn't make it over the finish line in time, or were just a little, just more edgy. Um, and the way we're forced to release music nowadays with the digital platforms and everything, you only get 3 or 4 shots at songs getting placed and playlisted and presented. Um,
So
and
true.
then the whole album has to come out. So you got these other songs that just get burned in the process. So I was like, man, let's just save these for another time and a way to kind of extend, to get more out of putting out an album. And the deluxe edition, the 5 tracks really allow me to just kind of not worry about the overall project, to go harder with the sonics of it, to have like somebody like IDK and Theophilus London, who's a great singer and rapper, and No Such Thing, who's a great producer. Kind of give me a chance to utilize some of those other collaborations without it, having the pressure of it being a part of the full album, and like, we're gonna give this song attention or that song attention. And it's like, no, we split it up, and here's the extra stuff. So because I don't want that stuff to carry over to the next project. I want to get it all out.
Yeah, kind of not letting anything hang loose, just like let it all out. Might as well keep it all together.
Let it
That's
all out.
awesome.
Because I recorded this album in 2022 in
Oh,
December.
really?
And I mean, and when I say we did it all in 17 days, like we started with nothing and ended with the mixes, and it was done.
Including the deluxe tracks, all of it.
No, the deluxe track, I updated
Yeah,
with because I was changing bands at the time too. That was kind of the end of one quartet. So now I have the people that you'll see in Denver, or the drummer and that keyboard player. They're now in the band. So I wanted, so I actually went back and replaced things with them.
gotcha. Yeah. Well, you just announced the tour. Starting in Denver with a bunch of shows, and then going overseas for a bunch of shows,
Yep.
and then I know you're coming back, and then you're playing Blue Note in L.A. for a run as
Yeah.
well. Which
Blue Note LA.
yeah, good idea to acclimate yourself here, starting in the Mile High. That's a
Yeah.
good call. And then, what does this tour mean to you right now, like at this point in your career?
Oh man, that's a good question. I'm very blessed to where, especially with Europe, I go to Europe 4 or 5 times a year. It's normal. I was there in March. I was there in April. I was there in the end of May into June. I was there in July. Uh,
Yeah, one of our hosts was like, he's always in France.
yeah, man. I mean, so like for me, it's kind of routine. This is my normal fall tour time. But I'm liking the fact that it's growing in the States and I'm able to play in the States more because it's a tough market.
Yeah, well, we're super excited to have you here in Denver. Welcome you back. Like you were kind of saying before we talked, you haven't really played here since
So,
college, so we're
in
excited to
like
have you
20
back.
years.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I wanted to talk a little bit about. I was reading your Downbeat article, and you were talking about how before you were like kind of doing those recording sessions for the album, your mother experienced a psychotic episode, and
Yeah.
so when you and your brother brought her into the studio after that, and you were kind of able to like feel her become grounded, what do you like think? Well, first of all, what was going through your mind as both a son and an artist when that happened, and then kind of what do you think, like the studio environment led to like the music itself that allowed her to like feel that grounding? Because I think it's kind of you talking about how music is a healing power.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, first of all, as a son, I thought, man, I need to, I need to finish this album and take care of my mom.
Of course.
Finish this album so I can take care of my mom. And I need to take some time off, which I did as much as I could. That's why the album has just come out this year.
Gotcha.
Not early 2023 with the tiny desk and all of that kind of thing because it just I fell out with Sony at that time, and so which they didn't know. Nobody knew things were happening. With I'm not somebody that shows up to work like, hey, I'm having personal trouble. Like audiences don't come for that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm supposed to help people escape from their life when we play music and release albums. So um, I learned that was the most grounding part of that whole time for her and us, because she was able to, her brain was able to tune into the music and the vibrations of it, and having her there as part of the process, like, she seemed okay during that time,
Wow.
because it just, I don't know, man, the vibrations, just the way music is in general, but the way it tapped into her mind, it just kind of grounded her, and she was super functional for those 2 weeks, and it really gave me and my brother a break because we were exhausted from dealing with it and the state of the country and the ending of COVID. It was still COVID times. Like there was so many, everything was just so up in the air about how to get help and where to get help and how and things like that. That was the immediate, or that was the first bit of relief we had as far as getting help was concerned, was the music itself.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It really is.
It's really beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe there's a future exploration in that to help other people.
definitely. That would be really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
kind of taking it back to some of your early parts in your career. Talk about your relationship with like Dee Dee Bridgewater and how she pushed you to explore the range of your artistry early on.
Man, well, Dee Dee definitely. When I first met Dee Dee in China, I was living in Shanghai, and she was there for a week. And she, after the first rehearsal, she asked me to, take her around town. And so, I had gigs every night, sometimes multiple gigs in a night. And she came to most of them. Um, things with fusion bands, things with a salsa band, things with my own groups. And I had like an Afrobeat type band. And she came back a few months later and offered me a production deal where she would produce a record, and then get it signed to a major was the goal, because she was like, you need to be touring and get into the market. Like, you're just over here doing all this stuff in China. Nobody knows about it. And with your legacy and my help or her help, she's like, you can really go all the way with this. You know what I mean? So she came back a few months later and offered me the deal, and I said yes, of course. And then she was real adamant when we were like planning it. She was like, "You don't, I thought I was gonna go make a quintet record in the studio,
Like a straight
like
ahead.
some kind of
Yeah.
hard bop thing. That's what I mean. That's what I was mostly into. But I had all this other stuff going. She's like, "No, I want that Afrobeat band vibe that you had and those arrangements and things like that." She's like, you need to think ahead of the market. And this was in like 2010 that we started working together on this. She's like, you need to think of like what's next and carve out a piece of what's next. And I think that Afrobeat project that you have is where it's at. And that was the foundation of the album Afrophysicist.
Yeah.
All of those arrangements and songs were songs I was already performing in Shanghai with with an ensemble that mirrored that instrumentation.
Yeah, like the raw approach to it. And also I think it's like in your artistry is how you're not really like boxed into a genre. Is like you kind of totally spread out amongst things, and that's what makes it so special of your sound.
I mean, I try to, and I feel like that's just it's just me being honest. And the jazz box is a difficult box to be stuck in, and it's a silly box because it's such a wide range of things that they call it. It's almost like if I turned in an album with no trumpet on it, you wouldn't call it a jazz album. But once I put trumpet on it, people go, "Oh, it's jazz." You know what I mean? Because they just can't they can't see it any other way, any other box to put it in. And so Dee Dee really helped me. She taught me how to tour. She took me on the road with her, and then took my band. She gave her band notice and brought my band into the situation so that we could work. Promoters saw who I am, and I've been touring ever since then.
Wow. Well, how do you kind of think that experience shaped you and kind of can be used to maybe even like inspire the next generation of artists?
Well, it really felt like it felt like I was on the same path as people that like played with Art Blakey and played with Betty Carter and things like that. Like I was in a group working with a legend, learning how to throw down every night, um, everywhere in the world, despite how long the travel was, or that the luggage was lost, or if the sound was bad, or like every type of situation, every type of culture you could get into, we got into with Dee Dee. So it really felt like, at this point now, I mean, I don't know how many years ago that was. Maybe that was like 20. Oh, that was like 2013. We started touring together. So almost over 10 years ago. Now I got people in my band that are in their 20s, so I'm showing them how to do the same thing, and they're great musicians. Idris Frederick on the keys, and Miguel Marcel Russell on the drums. They're in their 20s, and they're great composers. They have great ideas for their music and things like that. And I'm showing them what you got to do to tour, what you got to do to be friends with the promoter, what you got to do to make sure a venue wants to have you back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How you got to deal with a flight getting canceled the day of a show, all all that kind of stuff. And then how to, the main thing we learned from Didi is how to play your heart out every night, no matter what.
Mm.
Like no matter what, like no matter what. And so I feel like I'm really paying that forward with them, and a lot more of the next process of my life is going to be that having younger, nurturing younger musicians to come in the band for a while and then go do their thing. Like right when these guys really start to get it and lock in, I'm gonna put them out and get somebody else.
Yeah. So let's talk about the band a little bit. So Theo Croker will be at Dazzle October 3rd and 4th, both the late
Yeah.
and early shows on both days. I'm super excited to experience Dream Manifest.
Let's
So
go.
what can like the fans expect? Who's playing with you in your band? Kind of go through that. Yeah,
Well, you can expect the music from the album. Maybe a few things from previous albums
maybe
too,
some
because
Jazz is Dead.
Jazz is Dead. I kind of put that song to rest, but sometimes it comes out. It can come out, moments of it or samples of it. Because
Yeah,
I
are you running samples?
yeah, I do a lot of sampling live. So yeah, I might drop the Gary Bart's vocals from Jazz is Dead over something else.
Cool, I
You
love
know,
that.
a lot of the songs kind of get molded together and melded together with new stuff when they relate. Um, but it's fun. It's an experience. We really, I don't make a set list. I don't tell the band what's coming necessarily. Um, so they're used to that. We do have a different bass player on this gig. We got Will Gaines, who lives in Denver, who's a bad
Yes,
dude.
yes,
And
very familiar.
yeah, he's a bad dude. So I'm excited. I'm excited to have a fresh perspective on the music on the gig, which is always fun. So it's gonna go places I'm not even aware of yet.
That's
With
awesome.
somebody new, and yeah, man, we're gonna play as much music as possible. And every show we're gonna do it different. We might even play some of the same songs, but it will be different every time. So we don't have a set formula for any of the songs. So that would be fun too.
Absolutely love that. Super like the roots of it all, and
Yeah,
I'm sure that keeps it fresh for you, kind of being able to meld
absolutely.
things into new things that or old things and all over across the board.
Yep.
So
Yep, you have to. You have to.
yeah. Um, so here's a question for you: if you could put your music like be the soundtrack of any movie or series, what would you be? What would you choose?
Hmm. I think I would choose that movie, The Fifth Element.
Oh, love
One of
that
my favorite
movie.
movies of all time.
That is a great one.
One of my favorite movies of all time. Just a great movie. Just those, and I grew up hearing soundtracks like that. Or even like Jurassic Park. Like, not that I don't think this album would fit that, but like I guess that was John Williams and Hans Zimmer, and I think who did Fifth Element is Theo Shapiro, maybe Theodore Shapiro or something like that. But that type of like modern but future traditional sound. The
Yeah.
way it's like modern traditional futurism. Like, I really feel that way about my music, and I try to make all my albums as cinematic as possible.
Yeah, it totally encapsulates what you're doing. So that's awesome. And then
Like a movie.
I was gonna say here's a question I like to ask people too is what's on your playlist right now? Like what are you listening to that's catching your ear?
Oh man, I'm listening to so much Brazilian music right now. It's not even funny. Um, I have a playlist right here. I could tell you. Um, I'm listening to Djavan a lot, Gilberto Gil, Georgie Ben George, Erica Badu's new single with The Alchemist,
Yeah.
Madison McFerrin's "Ain't It Nice."
Huge fan of that
Uh,
album. Yeah.
Man, that album, he doesn't know, but that album every day for me, "Ain't It Nice," gets played multiple times. I think
Yeah.
it's one of my most played songs. Renegade by Kent Jams just came out. I like
Hmm.
Tyler's new record. There's an artist named Amaria. I really like what she's doing. I like Maurice Brown's new record. I'm listening to that every day. Um, which is rare, that I listen to a trumpet player, but I really, his production and the vibe of it's so great. Um, K Tronada I'm listening to, and then I'm really listening to a lot of Brazilian music on top of that.
Man,
Like, but that's literally that's literally what I just saw on my phone.
man, great selections, Theo. That's awesome.
Let's go. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for,
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
sitting down and talking to us here at KUVO Jazz. We're super excited to have you in Denver, like I said,
Can't wait.
October 3rd and 4th at Dazzle Denver. So, yeah, thanks again.
Let's go. And I'll see you there, yeah?
Yes, you will. Yes, you
Yes.
will.
Awesome. Look forward to it.
Awesome.